Hi Leo, welcome to your December 2019 tarot card reading. Thanks so much for being here. So let's go ahead and dive right into these cards. So the card that came out for you signifying your energy, Leo, is in fact the King of Cups. Now, this is an energy of someone who is very emotionally mature and someone who can experience intense emotions, and in a way it makes them a lot stronger. And that's kind of the essence of the theme of the reading that I'm seeing coming through for you, is that your emotions, it's like really all about your like core strength and really kind of forcing yourself to do some of the hard internal work, even more probably than you ever really have done, because now you're probably a lot more aware of it. Because your environment card is the world. So it tells me that I think what's interesting is that more so than any of the other signs that I've read for so far this month, not a single one of them have had this kind of like awareness that this wheel is turning over. It's like you seem to be more like feeling it a lot more intensely. You seem to be, telling yourself like, okay, I can't go into this new cycle with this still issue looming. I still need to take care of that. I need to take care of this money thing, this heart thing. I need to take care of this health thing. And I just need to do whatever I need to do. So in a way, I'm getting a feeling like you're really clinging on to the issue. Now, I'm not saying like clinging in a bad way, but clinging in order to really release it for good. I just sense that this world, because this world card is actually ruled by Saturn, so there is a Saturnian nature to it. And Saturn, really pushes us really far. We have such amazing rewards because of Saturn. It's not easy like a Jupiterian energy, but there are still massive rewards to be had. And I think you're wanting the rewards enough that you are willing to really put in the time. And so this clinging to the issue, not clinging to keep it, but clinging to resolve it. Okay, so that's why I think there's this core strength that's coming out of I'm going to do this from the inside out, and really a strong determination to do it. So as we get into the 9-card block, the very first card we get is the 7 of Cups, which is such a opposite energy from the King of Cups. 7 of Cups kind of has first of all, there's an air of creativity. So some of you may be really feeling a lot of creative stuff because it's Sagittarius season. We do have the Sun and Mercury coming through your natural house, right? The 5th house, which is a house of creativity. So some of you may be starting those books, kind of redecorating your home. Some of you may be, getting your kids into new, violin lessons or something like that. That might be something. Some of you may be making major decisions about children and all that kind of stuff. That's on one hand. On the other hand, the 7 of Cups can often indicate a level of fuzziness or haziness, not really knowing quite how to feel, not really knowing what to choose. Maybe there's a sense of options, that whole deal. And to be honest right now, I don't know that your energy is best spent trying to choose the next thing. And I don't know that the universe is really supporting that right now. The eclipses are getting closer and closer. Oh, I was going to check the I forget which day the eclipses are on. I think it's the 26th of December, something like that, or maybe a little bit after that. But we're making our way into eclipse season now. We're making our way into the Saturn-Pluto thing. And I sense that you are the most sensitive about it. And I don't know why. You're getting pushed to the certain limit. You're getting pushed to a certain it's now or never, kind of maybe there's even a sense of urgency, which means that the future doesn't really need to be thought about right now. Why am I saying all this stuff? It's not really about the future, because it's not. So the next 2 cards that come out signify, this is kind of what I was saying, where you're clinging to the issue for the sake of resolving it. Anyone who's trying to sneak an issue past a Leo is just not going to succeed. I just don't see that that's a possibility. The 8 of Wands heading straight into 8 of Cups reverse. This is your dead stop, And I sense, Leo, that you're looking at something. Maybe it's like someone that broke your heart like 5 years ago and you're still getting over it. Maybe it's a business failure that you had. Maybe it was an issue with a child and you still haven't forgiven yourself for what happened, you know? But like you are like, I am going to feel better about this no matter what it takes. I'm going to forgive myself. I'm going to forgive that other person. I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to let this hold me back. I refuse to bring it into the new cycle. And that's the whole thing. It's not just the beginning of a new year. This is the beginning of a whole new astrological cycle that is very exciting, but it's also like, you know, kind of a big thing where we have an opportunity to really clear our karma. And when we say clear our karma, it doesn't mean to like, you know, start getting good things now. It's about changing our way of being so that good things just sort of naturally happen around us. So the Eight of Cups is like Leo is not budging. And you, this very swift and very direct, you can see those wands. They are all lined up. They are all heading in one direction. They all want to get to where they're going to go. You know, they're determined. Those wands are determined. And because of this internal, it's all very internal. Like, I don't know that there are people in your life that really know that this is happening. And they might even be getting frustrated with you, like, Leo, like, why are you so sad today? Or Leo, why are you so angry today? You know, this Scorpionic, right now we have Mars in Scorpio. And honestly, I feel like this Mars in Scorpio is kind of bringing up a lot of anger. We know that Scorpio is a sign of intensity. And sometimes, you know, if a Scorpio energy manifests negatively, we know that it can be revengeful, jealous, envious, all these kinds of really toxic emotions. But the anger, I think, is the cleansing mechanism. So if you are a Leo who is feeling angry about something, I'm not saying that's all of you, but maybe some of you, it's really important to like cling to the anger, not for the sake of being angry, but for the sake of true and absolute resolution. If you're, you know, feelings, you know, angry about a betrayal, finding a way to let it go, finding a way to really hope that that person finds happiness. I don't necessarily see Leo as being resentful normally, but maybe there's something there, because I definitely don't see you walking away from this Eight of Cups. You know, it's like this determination to feel the feeling so hard. Like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to feel these feelings and I'm not going to walk away. I'm not going to go anywhere until I know, because I'm going to go out of order a little bit. You'll see how the cards are when I put the camera down. But right underneath this Eight of Cups reverse is the Five of Coins, because this Eight of Cups thing has been my sore spot. It has been the place where I have felt like a failure, where I have felt like I was at a loss, where I felt like, right? So there's a connection here, which is why you're so determined to not be here, which we'll see at the end of the reading. The story continues to evolve. I know you don't want to be here, and I know that you never want to be here again. So all these things where you feel like you've come up short, where you feel like you've lost, where you feel like has broken you, right? These particular life events that have in some way, shape, or form broken you, you know, you're determined to heal. And again, it's this core strength, which I see also coming out underneath the Seven of Cups. Like, this is from the inside out, guys. This is sheer determination. And I haven't really seen a lot of signs being so stubborn about clinging to the stuff that they've been wanting to move away from. A lot of people are like, I just want to move away. I just want to let it go. I just don't want to think about it anymore. But in a way, it's almost as though you're kind of doing this weird therapy thing of, I'm going to think about it. It's kind of like smoking cigarettes. Like if you were young and got caught and your dad made you smoke the entire carton of cigarettes, so you got so sick that you never wanted to touch a cigarette again. It's kind of like a full immersion therapy kind of thing is what I'm sensing. And I think it's all just like locking yourself in your house for a few days, getting some private time and just like allowing the anger to come up, the sadness to come out, the jealousy to come out, and just being really true and honest and authentic with that stuff, because you know that you're never going to be able to make a decision. You're never going to be able to pick like a path or a cup or to choose some kind of new profession or whatever until you deal with what's bugging you. And some of you, like if you're dealing with Leos and they're kind of popping and, you know, going short a little with you, or being short rather with you, and maybe even kind of maybe a little bit nasty. Because I know that when Leos are shaken, they can very easily, kind of like a Sagittarius, just like just blurt it out and project really easily and like try to get it out of them. It really doesn't have anything to do with you. So if you're dealing with a Leo who's doing that, it's really not you. It's just them trying to really process. Now, unfortunately, not all Leos are going to be like consciously and aware of what's really going on. I think this kind of stuff is reserved for people who are into psychology, into learning, into healing, astrology, tarot, all a part of that as well. So, you know, these are people who are like, I am going to be on this life and I'm going to heal. I'm going to do the happiness thing. I'm going to do the fulfillment thing. And that's what I choose. So here it is, like really, really, really stubborn toward your finality, toward finishing this thing once and for all. Because I don't think you really want to think about it anymore, because you do want to be able to move smoothly into the future. You do want to have that clarity. And you know at the same time what it is that is preventing you from having that clarity as well. So in the very center of the reading, which is such a beautiful card for you, is the Star card itself, which is a card of wishes and dreams and alignment and healing and optimism and just so many beautiful things. It's also a card, I would say, of destiny. It's a card of our alignment. It's, you know, it's funny. I was talking to Cancer in their reading, and we have the North Node in Cancer, which for you is the 12th house. So this is all happening very deep inside of you. So it's like you really have to get this stuff out before that North Node kind of transfers into Gemini. But then we have this South Node, which is all about like the things we're trying to get away from, right? Which is in Capricorn. And yet all these planets are piling on in Capricorn: Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Pluto, eclipses. I mean, it's just like one thing after the next in this house, in this sign, Capricorn, that we're like really all trying to get away from and trying to evolve past. So like we're really, really hitting our limits here of, we know we're supposed to get away from it, and yet we're still like uncovering deeper layers of understanding. It's like we have to do this shedding of the skin in order to find the liberation, you know? So right now, I think as a snake, when it begins to shed its skin, its eyes become very cloudy and hazy, and it's the time when it's absolutely its most vulnerable. Because it can't see and it's just kind of waiting for the right time to emerge out of that skin. And I feel like now's the time where there's cloudiness, there's haziness, you can't see. So you are vulnerable, you are raw, and yet very aware of like any minute now you're going to be able to emerge properly. So the Star is saying like, it's okay, there is a light, there is a time when things are going to really become clear. It's all going to make sense. It's all going to come together. You just have to have faith, which is one of the hardest things. So right next to the Star is like the 5 of Coins, which we already said was right underneath the 8 of Cups here. So it's almost as though your perception of the 5 of Coins, you know, it's all going to come into some greater picture the way it always does. The bottom row here, I like. Getting 2 cards. So the Knight of Coins, which could be a version of you, okay? It could be your shadow, your voice, you're very logical, very ground. Like this is the part of you that's like, don't let go. Don't let go. Don't just try to run away from this. You have to deal with it. Don't just try to look away. Don't just try to be happy. Don't just try to do this. Like you need to exert the effort to absolutely let it go. Because there's a difference between just like pretending like it never happened and, you know, really being over it. And I think now's the time for you to really, really, really be over it. And then here's your card King of Wands, who's like, this is the card of Leo, right? Looking straight dead in the eye to the Knight of Coins, being like, yeah, I see you. Like, okay. This could be another person as well. It doesn't have to be you. It could be another person. And what's interesting is this Knight of Coins has been making an appearance a lot this month. And to me, it's kind of like a voice of reason in your reading. It's someone that says, Leo, sit back down. You got to do the work. Like, I know you're trying to like turn this cycle over ready, because in a way you feel ready and you feel good. And in a lot of ways, your life is amazing in a lot of ways. But you know that there's still at least one thing, and you can't walk away from it yet. And you're like, yeah, I know. You know, so if you have someone in your life who's maybe kind of delivering some harsh truths right now, Mercury and Sagittarius, super truthful, plus the Mars in Scorpio, plus we just had the Mercury retrograde a couple months ago in Scorpio, Mercury through Scorpio. It's been like all so much about truth telling with ourselves, but people are not really holding back when it comes truth to someone else, when it comes to becoming the mirror for someone else. People are not holding back. They're just spouting truth. So you may get a few little nuggets of gold here that are really going to be helpful. So I don't see, in this reading, I don't see Leo getting edgy with people. I don't see negativity. I don't see any kind of retaliation, although some of you may be dealing with Leos that are doing that. But in general, Leo is also just as much being truthful with themselves, and they seem to be very receptive of what other people's opinions are, especially because your very first energy was the King of Cups. Like, they know, both these kings, they know that other people can act as a really, really good mirror, and that it's okay, and that sometimes you don't know if your makeup's messed up unless you look in the mirror, you know? So this person is totally willing to look in the mirror and just be like, all right, I know. Because the very last card in the 9-card spread is in fact the 6 of Wands, which is the movement that you're seeking. This next month is going to be so crazy. I know you can feel it already. It's going to be so crazy. It's going to be so intense. It's going to be like, maybe nothing happens in the outside world, but you are undoubtedly going to feel the ways that you have changed. And it's becoming so apparent to ourselves that we're just simply no longer the people that we used to be, which means we got to start playing by a different set of rules. So the Six of Swords, I always say, is my card of spiritual evolution. It's the act of evolving itself. And the swords here, there's, it's not like it's 10 swords, but there are still 6 swords, which does signify a substantial amount of time that has passed, substantial amount of time wherein you have accrued certain successes, certain failures, and the lessons of those things are in that boat with you, so you can then move forward more seamlessly as you progress. So let's go ahead and put this camera down and take a look at the comprehensive cards so we can get more information, all right? See you in a sec. Okay, Leo. So I'm going to pull a couple of oracle cards for the King of Cups energy specifically, which is you. All right, let's take a look now. I also really like that the King of Cups is very specifically looking into the reading as well, which is like, okay, I'm interested, I'm looking, I've got energy dedicated to it, So he's not trying to avoid anything, which is nice. And fertility, amazing. It's being such a creative season. I know we're almost done with Sagittarius season. Sorry for being so late too, by the way. Just kind of was a difficult month for me. But fertility in the ways of kind of like, what's the word, tilling? Is that the word, tilling the fields? Going through before you really start. It's kind of like you're doing all the prep work right now, specifically so that when you feel truly ready to plant seeds, then that soil is going to be absolutely ready to go without any question. fertility is all about creativity and also children too. So some of you might be really, really hoping for children. When Mars enters into Sagittarius, that's going to be a really amazing time for some of you to like go out there and get preggers, you know, go get pregnant if you want. Very strong sex drive with that particular transit. And I think the ideas that are sort of, that you're mulling around in your mind right now really will start coming to life like when Mars enters into Sagittarius next month. So let's see. Imagine. Yeah, of course, we need to imagine. Imagine here, you know, imagine. See, I'm hard pressed for you guys to talk about like imagine the future, but rather imagine what it would be like to not be still here, to not feel this still, to not still feel stuck. So really it's more about imagine like the star energy, imagine the feeling of release, imagine the feeling of blossoming, imagine the feeling of absolute liberation, which both of these speak to flawlessly as well, and what it would be like to be truly free from the stuff, whatever that stuff is, to be free from the stuff that has held you back up to this point. So let's take a look now at the comprehensive energy, the comprehensive cards. For those of you who want to join to continue the conversation, the link will be down in the description box down below. And we'll talk for another 20 to 25 minutes in that reading. So we'll just pull out the cards here to see what we'll be talking about. Maybe one more for the King of Cups here. Okay. Wow, Hierophant and Justice. Those are pretty big, heavy hitters. Pretty big. Yeah, it's just really not about the time of creation right now. It's just not about choosing your... Oh, another Eight of Cups reverse. So what's going on? Did I pick up the deck upside down? No, I did not. Okay, just happened to get 3 reversals for that. That's fine. But 2 Eight of Cups reversed. It's not really about thinking about the future in terms of what you're going to do in the future, but rather what the future will look like without this stuff holding you back. You know you have to. You know you've got to do it. Excellent. I really feel like Leo is stepping up to the challenge, stepping up to... It's almost like you're kind of volunteering for a competition, but it's like a competition with yourself. Like, yeah, I'll put my name in the bucket. I'll play this game. Let's see how long I can hang on. Let's see how long I can cling to this so that I can heal from it. So here we have the Two of Cups, which is something, okay, something with a connection, a relationship. Okay, it doesn't have to be romantic. I will probably speak to it in more romantic terms, but it doesn't have to be. One more for that. Clearly that's a big deal. There's an element of choice that comes through there as well. Now, I'm not saying the choice is like to sit and be unhappy. That's not why you would be clinging to the rock. It's not the choice to stay angry. It's the choice to really get rid of the anger once and for all. Okay. Because I'm sure you find an emptiness in that area. A resentment, a sadness. There's similar to fertility over here as well, meaning there's life to be found in this place in which you found yourself, in a feeling where maybe you feel like there's scarcity there. A lot of people coming out, like a lot of court cards. There's you. I really like that Knight of Coins for some reason. I think that Knight of Coins, whether it is a part of you or an actual other person who is kind of like a confidant, I really like their energy and I love their intentions towards you. A lot of majors with them, meaning they genuinely like want to see the best for you. Gosh, I can't believe we have so many repeated cards. This is insane. Okay, excellent. Excellent way to end the reading. So I am going to stop the camera here. I hope that there was some insights in here for you. Have an excellent holiday season, and I will see you in a couple weeks. Thanks.